Hi, here we are, Anya Levine, the house coach. I want to walk you through today for the next couple of weeks. I'm thinking it might be a 2-month process. We'll see what happens into a renovation. And this renovation is happening actually in my home, and it is happening in the lower level of this house. Just a little background about this house. We've been living in it for 20 years. As any of you who have worked with me, I always ask, what is it that attracted you to this house? And as soon as I walked in the front entrance, I just felt a wonderful feeling. It was a handyman special, but with that, we were able to put our stamp on it and our love. So in this basement here, we were part of the first reno, which we did about 18 years ago. And so you can probably see it's kind of dingy. It was more of like a denny feeling down here. We had a lot of sofas and chairs, and it was family room and movie time with the kids. Also, when Matthew was growing up, in the back there was a lot of hockey going on. And then we graduated and we started having a little workout area in the back. And then we continued on with having a TV area. Let me see if I can move this a little bit over here. Yes, TV area over here with the couches. And we also have a laundry area over here that you can see right there. Perfect. And then behind the laundry area, there's a wall there, and behind there is a bathroom, which we put in. And the bathroom is a 3-piece bathroom, so toilet, sink, and shower. So the renovation, what's going to happen in this house is we are going to change this area up for other people to live. And the reason we're doing that is a couple of reasons. And I want to share this with you because I want you to think about your space, not to ask you to do a renovation, but for this particular area, it was becoming dormant. Nobody was hanging out down here anymore, and it was becoming a dump ground, and that is not a good energy, especially when it's the bottom of the home. So my conversation to you about that is low vibrating areas. Really try to focus on making sure that it's in order and it's clean. So as much as we weren't doing anything down here for a while, I always told myself, get back down here, you know, clean it up, organize it, make it feel happy, because we do come down here for showers and the laundry and everything like that. So back to the reno, what we are going to do is we're going to transform this to a 1-bedroom apartment. And so we are either going to have that rented out to a lovely individual, or we are going to sublet it in terms of maybe sort of like an Airbnb. We're not really sure yet, but right now we're kind of going along with having it for somebody to live here. And so the transformation is going to be taking place with many different areas. So I'll start with the floor. We are going to take the carpet out and we are going to put vinyl flooring in there. And the reason we're doing vinyl is because the vinyl laminate is very good in case of any sort of water damage. And so that is why we're putting that down. Now, the floors are not completely even, so the contractors are going to somewhat even out the floor. Let's see, maybe we can, hey, young Sam is on. Thank you. It isn't live, but I just got a text. But yeah, young Sam loves renovating as well. So, and my sidekick. So, and so they're going to sort of even that out, and maybe we can video that. It'll be great to watch. In the back, we're going to have the bedroom. And if you can see, I don't know if you can see, you probably cannot see, there is a window. So we're going to make that larger because under fire code, you have to make sure that there are 2 exits. So that's going to happen. And then I'm going to bring the camera a little bit closer so maybe you can see a larger scope of the area. Let's see, and I'm going to just sort of walk away a little bit. And over here you see some doors. That was for us just, you know, some space that we had made closets to put in towels and whatnot in there, camping gear. And so that's going to be opened up. And then right along here, we're going to have a kitchen. And so we're going to have the kitchen on this wall here. And then we're going to do the living space over here. The space will be transformed, as I said, with floor. We're going to put a lot more pot lights in now, so it's going to be much brighter. And we are going to have the walls white. So it'll be a very modern, fresh look. I'm so super excited. I do now want to change the subject to renovations. When you're doing renovations, when you're getting somebody in, my suggestion is to, for example, with this space, if it's a room, try to have the space as simplistically looking as possible, so that when you have contractors coming to look at the scope of the job, they're able to move around and take that all in. They are very creative types. They are very visual because that's what they do. So the more they get to see the space, the easier they can sort of translutes on how the process can take place and what needs to happen. The other thing too is that when the space is very simply looking, where there's not a lot of stuff, then it feels like the job is so much more doable, which means then the pricing, I have to tell you, and I feel very strongly, is more adequate to what it should be, as opposed to now this place is not completely empty, and it will be, but you can see the floor plan quite a bit. But if I had left everything the way it usually is, and we are videoing this in January, so I would have had Christmas bins down here. I had to tuck away hockey bags and things like that. So with that, it was much more easier for them to come and take a look at it. The other thing is when they give you a quote, they usually get a quote for what they're doing. That does not include the floors, because the floors really depends on what kind of floors I want to pick. Prices change and materials change for that. Also, it doesn't include the kitchen because they don't know what kind of kitchen I want. And so I went out to price the kitchen, and I have gone into an IKEA, and I've got a couple looks, and I'll definitely talk about that on another video with you. And so the other thing is, if you're not really sure, I'm always about trying to get 3 quotes. Now, it isn't always that simple because contractors are very busy these days. The housing renovation, the movement of this city, Toronto, even up, you know, over the GTA, Ontario, and I'm sure if I'm having some of my viewership, such as yourself, and you're from another country, listening to this, I'm sure it holds the same, because as on Earth, we are growing more and more people. So with that, that means that there are much more houses for contractors and buildings to work on. So I like 3 quotes. If it can happen, that's fine. And the other thing too is I find referrals are really great. So, you know, ask people around that you trust, and friends. Oh, so you did a reno in the bathroom, you know, were you happy with the person? Now, I will say any relationship that is a long relationship, so with a contractor, it will be, you know, it will be at least a 1.5 month relationship. I'm going to tell you that it's going to be, you know, up and down. So the initial relationship is very key. You have to feel comfortable with them. And that's not if they're like saying, yeah, no worry, don't worry about this, don't worry about that. That's a red flag, because you want to be very specific and open communication. And if you want to say in the beginning, listen, I have quite a few questions. I want to make sure that you're okay that I ask you these questions, then that's fine, and write down the questions. Or, you know, even if before you call them, if you want to talk to them over the phone, that is fine. The other thing is Home Stars is one area that you can look at in terms of ratings to see what the ratings are. I have a number of contractors that I work with because as a designer, I do this for a living, and I am, definitely work with clients and do design jobs. Last year we did, with one client, we did a completely total reno. The contractors that are working with me on this project are not the ones that worked on that, and they also worked on my bathroom. So I have a number of contractors. Some of them I don't use all the time because A, they're not available, and B, it depends on the scope of the job. So I really liked these guys because I like two because it's the basement, so it's in and out, energy too, like somebody working by themselves down here. And then also one of them has an Airbnb, so they really kind of get the idea of what would be needed, and so that was the reason I picked them. Plus, of course, Ray, my husband, and I had a budget, and that is very key, having a budget. And sometimes we're at a left field with a budget, but have a budget and make sure that you kind of stay into that scope. So this budget is about $20,000. So, we'll see where it goes. That kind of, it's probably going to go over because there is appliances that need to be purchased. But, so maybe 20 plus. Yeah, I am pretty transparent with numbers. But if you are hiring contractors and then like a team with a designer, then make sure you also filter in the design costs as well. Designers are wonderful. Of course, I'm going to say that because I'm a designer. And, I love working with contractors in unison because they've got one area of expertise and then I have another area because I'm always thinking of the design element. And, for me in this particular project, it's the basement. And so I think if I was living down here, what would I want? How do I want to feel when I'm down here? So it's really important. I mean, I rented quite a bit before I got married and, bought a house, and this is our second house. However, I lived above stores, I lived in a basement, so I'm cognizant on spaces, but I want to make sure that this place here matches as much as possibilities. And so when you have an Airbnb, which is, people are in and out, that is one kind of living. So you want it to be very, in my mind, very chic, very hotelish, everything just placed really nice. Obviously with an Airbnb, everything would be furnished. If someone is living in here, then I'm thinking about space. Again, I'm going to go back to Christmas. Christmas just finished. Where is that person going to put their Christmas ornaments? Where is that person going to put off-season clothes? Where does that person put their sports gear? Maybe they cycle. So I have to think of all of that. The other thing I want to talk to you about is the reason I'm doing this is A, it's dormant, and plus the income that I'm receiving from this is going to go into another area that I'm going to use to pay out. So that is my reason. It could be very easy that I don't have to do anything here because I am being put out here as well, and so is my family. I do have 3 children. 2 of them sort of are flying the coop, so there is more space upstairs. But there's things like 2 hockey bags that I've always had down here. Ray and Matthew. Then there is off-season clothes, and I have decor pieces that I move back and forth depending on the season, which is down in the furnace room. And then it's things like some furniture that I didn't really want to get rid of, but it's like, okay, it can't be down here. Also, tons of towels and bedding and all camping gear. So that I have to deal with. And then you can see that filing cabinet over there. I kind of pushed that in the middle. That is full of files. And so now no more files down here, and I got to bring all the papers upstairs, and then I got to go through that. So you know, when we're doing a renovation, we're usually doing it because the end result is going to make us happy. If it's a kitchen, a new bathroom, whatever it is. But remember that you are going to feel out of sorts. There is, even though you're hiring the designer, you're hiring the contractors, there is work that you need to do, the pre-work and all of that. So, you know, this video is being taken on a Friday. And so I can tell you what I'm doing this weekend, and that is going through files and trying to find homes for whatever's not going to be here anymore. And my biggest challenge is, where are those hockey bags going to go? And I can't wait to get the answer so I can let you know. Anyway, so that is video 1. It's probably, I think, going to be the longest video, but it's all about a storyline of a renovation, and it is for me, for you, to take notes and ideas and feedback for when you're working on your renovation, and whatever size it may be and wherever it may be. It could be outside landscaping, it could be a kitchen, you know, whatever the scope may be. Anyway, I hope video 1 has given you some insight to think about, and excited to be back for video